Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Today's topic is going to be the cause and the cure. Some of you who've been following me a while can hopefully guess what those are, but we're going to cover it tonight. Before I do, a couple of nice deep breaths. Just breathe in something good. Exhale something bad. Whatever it is you want to do. Inhale something that you want. Exhale something you want to get rid of. Relax your body so that you can breathe in a natural way. That sends a direct message of safety to your subconscious brain, because a relaxed body breathing comfortably conveys safety to the subconscious. The cause and the cure. So, if you've been following me, the cause of chronic pain, or the cause of pain, and the cure are kind of the opposites. The cause of pain, chronic pain, is the brain perceiving danger. The cure is the opposite, the brain perceiving safety. Two sides of the same coin, right? Opposite sides of the same coin. So, if you have chronic pain or other chronic symptoms, it's because the cause is your brain is perceiving danger at some point, at some level, consciously, subconsciously. And much of these perceived dangers are outside of our awareness. They're in the subconscious mind. Sometimes it's a conditioned response, something we've experienced before, so we expect it. Could be, the subconscious brain kind of connecting the dots to some experience that happened decades ago. And that's what the brain does. Its job is safety and survival. So it's always looking out for danger. And so if it finds it, it's got to warn us somehow. Sometimes the warning are, fearful thoughts. Hey, what if it's this? What if it's that? Be careful, be careful. Right? But in most cases, or many cases, I don't know if there's a way to even quantify what percentage of cases, but in many cases, the brain will use symptoms such as chronic pain or a wide variety of other symptoms to warn us of this perceived danger. So we don't have to figure out what's going on. We don't have to figure out what the danger is. We don't have to figure out the trigger to the symptoms. Simply knowing at the high level, I'm having symptoms, or my symptoms got more intense, or I've got a new symptom somewhere. All we need to know is my brain's perceiving danger. And if you can figure it out, great. But if you can't, don't look for it. Don't spend weeks or months or years trying to figure out what does my brain think is dangerous. Because even if you could figure it out, that's not helpful, right? Well, if this activity or this situation triggers me, I'm going to avoid that so I don't have pain. No. Avoiding triggers makes your world smaller. That's not the solution. That's a workaround to try to avoid the symptoms or pain. And again, all it does is make your world smaller. So, if the cause is the brain perceiving danger, the solution is showing and teaching the brain safety, that we're actually okay. That all stems from the solid foundation of how this stuff works. And when you recognize that your pain is simply a matter of your brain misunderstanding what's going on and misinterpreting some bad data and turning on the danger alarms, it's easier to dial down the fear, because at that point you have a pretty solid knowledge, my body's okay. And all these symptoms are false alarms, right? So, perceived danger is the cause of the symptoms and the pains. It becomes chronic through fear and attention. If you want it to not be chronic anymore, let's remove the fear and the attention from the symptoms. We remove the fear with this accurate knowledge, the things that I talk about every day. And then what do? We focus on safety. Well, what does safety look like? Well, it looks like living your life normally, engaging normal activities. Because when we're doing that, the brain has no choice but to perceive, hey, he must be safe because he's doing all those normal things, right? Safety. Consistent messages of safety. If your messages of safety are this big and the messages of danger are this big, you got a little more convincing to do before the brain's going to believe your little bit of safety messages. We want the ratio to be much bigger. I'm safe. And that way we can deal with, oh no, what if? We can kind of brush them aside a lot quicker and a lot easier if we're continually reinforcing and reassuring our scared, misinformed brain that we're actually okay, and we are using our cognitive intellect to teach the brain the accurate information so the subconscious eventually gets on board and realizes, wow, we're actually okay. So perceived danger is the problem, safety is the cure or the solution. Don't make it any more complicated than that. If you're noticing your symptoms, what can you do to convince yourself you're safe? Listen to some music, dance, smile, connect with a friend, go out with some other people. Oh, but it hurts. Yeah, but a lot of people find that when they engage in the outside world, their symptoms get better. Why? Because the brain says, look, they're doing normal stuff. They're hanging out with their friends. They're doing whatever. They must be okay. What does that convey? Safety. And when the brain feels safe, what happens? The symptoms can decrease or sometimes go away completely. And we have these types of stories being shared over and over again through YouTube comments, Facebook comments, messages I get, group coaching calls. People will share their successes in the beginning of the calls. And people will say all the time, I had a symptom flare up and I met it with cool, calm confidence. I'm okay. Hey, brain, there's nothing really bad going on here. I'm going to go do this thing I had planned to do anyway and go out and engage in life. And so many times we hear people sharing their victories that when they took that stance, symptoms cooled down within hours or a day or two. Where in the past, if they typically responded with fear and freak out to symptoms increasing or a new symptom, oftentimes those little flare-ups would last weeks. So, this stuff works, folks. Perceived danger is the only problem you need to figure out. And that's what it is. So, whatever the symptoms are doing, just know perceived danger is the issue. And therefore, the quicker you jump to, how can I persuade the brain to believe that I'm safe, the faster you're going to see your symptoms abate, retreat, fade away. Hope that makes sense. That's my message. Says, Dan, you've got 2 minutes before your group coaching call. So I'm going to wrap this up. The cause and the cure. The cause is perceived danger. The cure is safety. Try not to overcomplicate it. It doesn't have to be complicated to work. It's not easy, but it's not complicated. So, I'm trying to make it simple and easier to implement. And I know we're dealing with our thoughts and our emotions and fears and a lifetime history of maybe health anxiety, maybe just a recent history of whenever your symptoms came about and all the bad stuff you've heard from doctors. At the end of the day, we can set aside all that stuff and say, I've done the analysis. It's TMS, perceived danger pain. That's all I need to know as far as figuring out the cause. You know the cause now. Perceived danger creates symptoms and pains. Fear and attention keeps it going. Let's dial down the fear. Let's pull away the attention. Things can settle down. Safety. Consistent messages of safety. Somebody please remind me if I forget. In one of the first comments, I am going to post a link to my Consistent Messages of Safety 24 Examples video. So if I forget to do that, please somebody in the comments remind me, and I will. Or you can just go to YouTube and search for Consistent Messages of Safety. You'll probably find it. Or Pain-Free You, Consistent Messages of Safety. Anyway, I've got to run. I got my group coaching starting in a couple minutes. Love you guys and gals. The cause and the cure. Danger is the cause. Safety is the cure. Love you, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Take care.